Wishes do not move the world. Wiring does. Manifestation is not luck, not magic, not a secret force outside you. It is a learnable way your mind and body work together so that intention becomes behavior and behavior becomes results. Think of your brain as a builder. It follows blueprints that you repeat. When you repeat fear, it pours concrete around your feet. When you repeat a clear intention with calm emotion and simple action, it lays a steady path in front of you. Good morning, everyone. Today we will talk about manifestation in its true sense. You will learn how to move from fear mode to heart mode so your system is calm, present, and ready. You will learn how to plant an intention deep enough that your attention starts to notice helpful cues. Your focus stays on the next honest step, and your actions line up without forcing. You will stop waiting for a sign and start making one. Here is what manifestation really means. First, state one intention in plain language that serves your real needs, not your ego. Second, shift your body into calm with slow nasal breaths and a gentle pause, because a settled body opens a wider mind. Third, use many senses to engrave the intention. Write it by hand, read it in silence, say it out loud. See a short inner scene where you follow through today. Keep it simple so you will repeat it. Fourth, return to it each morning and each evening, not to chase a rush, but to build a groove that carries you on hard days. There is no outside rescue here, and that is good news. You are not powerless. Your attention is the steering wheel. Your habits are the engine. Your emotions are the fuel. Fear burns hot and stalls fast. Gratitude, compassion, and service burn steady and clean. When you act from that steadier state, your mind stops scanning for threats and starts finding openings. Opportunities that were always there become visible because you are finally looking for them. If you have chased shiny goals before and felt empty, you did not fail. You were just following a noisy map. We will draw a quieter map that points to what truly matters. Steady health, meaningful work, people you can count on, enough money to remove constant fear. From that map, manifestation is not a fantasy. It is a daily craft. One breath, one sentence, one small kept promise, repeated often enough to become who you are. This book will not hand you slogans. It will give you tools that fit inside a crowded adult life. Short practices you can keep. Soft but firm rules you can trust. A way to live in heart mode more of the time so your best judgment can do its job. You have lived enough to want results that last. Let us build them the right way. Because this is serious, let me pause. Before the day rushes in, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, only if you truly enjoy what I am doing here. And in the comments, write your location, your time zone, and the time right now, this morning. Now open the curtains and let the light in. Pour a glass of water, maybe brew a coffee or tea. Set your phone to Do Not Disturb and take one deep breath. Let's begin our journey this morning. Chapter 1. The Prison You Cannot See. You wake inside a narrow room you did not mean to build. The walls feel close, the air feels heavy, and the light seems thin. You did not order bricks or mix mortar, yet the room stands all the same. Each harsh label you once accepted became a brick. Each old memory you replayed became the paste that holds it. Day after day, a quiet voice told you that you are late, that you are less, that you should have known better. Without noticing, you believed the voice enough times to give it power. The room grew around you, one small belief, one small flinch, one small surrender at a time. You are not weak for ending up here. You are human. The mind tries to guide and protect you, and sometimes it uses fear to do it. Fear can help in a true emergency, but when it stays on for too long, it narrows your view and turns ordinary moments into threats. The first shift is not to kick the wall or curse the room. The first shift is to see it. When you see a pattern clearly, it loses the magic trick that keeps you stuck. Imagine you hold a small silver key. The key is called attention. Attention is not a spotlight that burns you. It is a steady beam you can aim wherever you choose. Right now, you point it at the present moment. Sit upright. Place both feet on the floor. Rest your hands where they feel natural. Close your mouth gently and breathe in through the nose, slow and even. Hold a small, soft pause. Breathe out longer than you breathed in. Do this a few times. As your breath lengthens, your chest loosens. Your shoulders drop a little. Your jaw unclenches. You are telling your body that the storm can ease for a moment. Now you watch your thoughts as if they are small boats drifting across a harbor. A thought appears that says you always fail. You do not jump in, you simply notice. A thought appears that says other people have it easier. You notice. A thought appears that says you are too old to begin. You notice. This is not passivity. This is control. When you watch without grabbing, the boats keep moving. You do not hand them your time, your breath, or your dignity. The room begins to respond to your calm. The walls do not leap away. They soften at the edges. You realize that the room is made of sentences, and sentences can be edited. You do not edit with force. You edit with honesty and mercy. Say to yourself in plain language that this is a story you practiced, not your identity. Say that a habit can be changed. Say that you are allowed to learn, even now, especially now. Next, you start to map the room. Where are the tight corners? When do the walls feel closest? Is it morning when you first wake and reach for your phone? Is it at work when a raised eyebrow makes your chest close? Is it at night when the house is quiet and old scenes replay? Mapping shows you where you lose yourself so you can plan how to return. You are gathering data, not building a case against yourself. Pick one common trigger. Name it clearly. For example, the moment before a difficult call, or the pause after a mistake, or the silence when someone does not write back. In that exact spot, place a simple, repeatable action that brings you back to the present. One slow breath in through the nose, a soft pause, a longer breath out. One line you can remember under pressure, like you are safe right now, or you can start small. One physical cue, like relaxing your tongue or lowering your shoulders. These tiny moves do not look dramatic, but they break the automatic loop that used to build your walls. You will be tempted to argue with the voice that insults you. Do not. Arguing feeds it. Let the voice play its old lines while you continue your new behavior. You are not trying to win a debate. You are building a new lane for your attention to travel. Each time you choose the breath, the sentence, and the small step, you pour a little less concrete around your feet and lay a little more path in front of you. Bring compassion into the room. Compassion is not an excuse. Compassion is a tool. Picture your younger self standing in front of you, carrying the weight you once carried. Would you speak to that version of you with the same sharp words you have used in your head? Or would you steady your tone, Soften your eyes and offer a hand. Speak to yourself now with that same voice. You did what you could with the tools you had. Today, you get better tools. Create one small ritual to remind you that you are the author of this story. Keep a plain card and a pen where you start your day. On the card, write a single line that is both honest and kind. You can keep your promises today. Or, you are learning to return to calm. Or, you begin again now. Read the line in silence. Read it aloud. Close your eyes and see a short scene in which you follow through on a small action. Make the scene ordinary, not grand. You hit send on the simple message. You take a short walk after lunch. You spend a few quiet minutes with a person you love. Your brain learns faster from small wins than from big speeches. Clean a little space around you to match the space you are creating inside. Clear one drawer. Wipe one surface. Put one object back where it belongs. This is not about perfection. This is about anchoring your attention in a present you can influence. When your outer world is slightly calmer, your inner world gets the message that calm is possible. Remember that the old room calls you back because it is familiar, not because it is correct. Familiar is not the same as safe. Familiar is not the same as true. When the old pull arrives, label it. Say, "This is the old script." Then do something small and good in the present. Drink a glass of water. Step outside and feel the air on your face. Send a kind note to someone who would not expect it. Action breaks loops that thought alone cannot touch. As you practice, measure progress by returns, not by spotless days. The skill you want is not never falling. The skill you want is returning sooner and softer. Each return sands down a corner, lowers a wall, and opens a path. Over time, the room you once feared becomes a hallway you pass through. You still notice it. You do not live there. If shame shows up and tries to lead the day, step aside and let it pass. Shame wants to freeze you in place. You do not need to fight it. You only need to move, even a little. Fold one shirt, write one sentence, take one slow breath. Movement is proof that you are more than your mood. Keep your metaphors consistent in your own mind. The room was built by old sentences, so you write new sentences. The wall grew from tight breath, so you lengthen your breath. The door appears when you place attention on what you can do now. Each choice aligns with the image you hold, so the story stays coherent and strong. Close this chapter with a calm, practical promise. You will not try to knock down every wall by sunset. You will hold the small silver key of attention. You will breathe in slow, pause, and breathe out longer whenever the room feels tight. You will speak to yourself with the same steadiness you would offer to a friend who is hurting. You will make one small edit to the script you run in your head, and one small action in the world that backs it up. Soft bridge. As the doorway appears and the air grows easier to breathe, you will need a steadier heartbeat to cross the threshold and step outside. In the next chapter, you will learn how to shift your body from fear mode to heart mode on purpose. So calm becomes your base and your path widens with every step. Chapter 2. From fear mode to heart mode. You step across the threshold and feel the first rush of open air. It surprises you that the air can feel different without the room changing at all. That is the truth about the body. The world can look the same, yet inside your chest, the weather swings from storm to gentle breeze in a matter of moments. This chapter is about learning that swing on purpose, not by force, not by tricks, by a steady understanding of how your system works and how you can work with it. Begin with a clear picture. Your body carries two main settings for daily life. One is fast and narrow. The other is slow and wide. The fast and narrow setting is built for threat. It tightens muscles, shortens breath, and narrows vision. It prepares you to fight, to flee, or to freeze. It is a useful friend in a true emergency, but it is a poor captain for an ordinary day. When it stays on for too long, you misread emails like alarms, you hear neutral words like attacks, and you carry your shoulders like a shield that never lowers. The slow and wide setting is built for living. It lengthens your breath and loosens your jaw. It opens the field of view so you can notice options you missed before. It brings warm blood back to your hands and softens the clench behind your eyes. In this setting, you read situations more fairly. You choose words with less regret, and your body repairs itself instead of bracing for a blow that is not coming. This is the soil where learning grows and relationships mend. It is also the soil where manifestation becomes practical. Intention needs room. Fear takes up the whole room. How do you move from fast and narrow to slow and wide? Think of yourself as a sailor in a small boat. When a squall hits, you cannot calm the sky. You can, however, trim the sail, lower your center of gravity, and point the bow into a safer angle. Breath is that trim. Posture is that ballast. Attention is that angle. These are not grand moves. They are small, reliable adjustments any adult can make in a crowded day. Sit as you are and notice what the storm did to your body. Are your shoulders rising toward your ears? Is your jaw locked? Is your tongue pressing against your teeth? First, drop your shoulders a little. Let your tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. Place one palm on your chest and one on your belly so your hands can feel the change. Close your lips gently. Breathe in through your nose in a slow sweep. Pause for a soft moment, not a strain. Breathe out through your nose or your mouth in a longer sweep than the breath you took in. Do this again. Do this a third time. With each exhale, imagine you are letting ballast settle into the keel. The boat steadies first, then the sea follows. This simple pattern speaks a language your nervous system understands without debate. Long exhale says there is no chase. Soft pause says there is room. Nasal inhale says you can take in what you need without gulping. You are not trying to feel bliss. You are trying to be steady enough to choose, and that is more useful than bliss on most days. Now look at the day ahead as a coastline rather than a wall. Along that line, place a few quiet harbors. A harbor is a small place or moment where you can reset the boat. It can be the first minute after you wake. It can be the space before you open your inbox. It can be the pause after you park the car, but before you step out. In each harbor, repeat the same short sequence. Sit upright. Notice shoulders, jaw, tongue. Nasal inhale. Small pause. Longer exhale. 3 cycles. Then one clear sentence in plain language. The day can be handled from a calm base. This is not a ritual for luck. It is a ritual for steering. Shape the environment like a companion sailor who knows the local winds. Fewer alerts on your phone reduce artificial squalls. Softer light in the evening tells the body that the coastline is safe. A clear desk lowers the number of decisions your eyes must resolve each hour. None of these choices are dramatic, but together they lower the background wind so you do not have to fight for calm from dawn to dusk. When a surge of fear still rushes in, do not scold yourself for being human. Surges come. They pass faster when you do not feed them with stories. Name what is happening in simple terms. The body is bracing. Then return to the boat, moves you trust. Breath first, posture second, angle of attention third. This order matters. Breath steadies the deck. Posture signals safety to the muscles. Angle of attention points your mind toward what you can do next, not toward the open mouth of panic. You may wonder how this connects to the larger promise of manifestation. It connects at the level where choices are made. Your attention decides what becomes important. Importance directs your focus. Focus directs your small actions. Small actions done steadily become results you can feel. None of this chain holds when fear is captain. Fear narrows attention to threats, labels everything urgent, and burns your fuel on fights you never needed. Calm widens attention to openings, labels one thing as the next honest step, and saves your fuel for work that matters. Some days the sea will slap your hull all morning. You will get caught in a riptide of news, demands, and noise. On those days, aim for less distance and more stability. It is better to hold a small pocket of calm and make one clear move than to spend the entire day thrashing. Think like a mariner who respects the weather, not like a tourist who yells at the sky. You are not weak for adjusting the plan. You are wise for keeping the boat upright. Remember that your body stores old storms as habits. A hallway at work, a certain tone, a familiar delay, and suddenly the wind is back. Expect these echoes and greet them like markers on the chart rather than traps. Each time you meet an echo and stay with your sequence, you teach your system that the echo is not the event. Over weeks, the echo fades. Over months, the new route becomes the default route. This is how adults change, not with fireworks, but with patient seamanship. Be careful with stimulants when the wind is already high. Extra coffee during a surge can turn a choppy sea into white caps. Choose water first, then a warm drink that does not spike your engine. Take 10 quiet steps down a hallway. Look out a window until your eyes land on something far away. Distance in your gaze tells your brain there is room to think again. These options are simple on purpose. In a surge, simple is what you can keep. If you share space with people you love, let them in on the new signals you are using. Tell them that a hand on your chest means you are settling your breath, not pulling away. Tell them that a pause before you answer means you are choosing words, not building a wall. When people understand your signals, they stop mistaking your calm for distance. Calm and distance can look similar from the outside. A few honest sentences turn confusion into support. There will be mornings when you wake already braced. On those mornings, get your body into the sunlight as soon as you can. Natural light clears the fog faster than any talk. Step outside and let the light touch your eyes, not directly, but through the space around you. Feel the air on your face, feel the ground under your feet. Say out loud, here and now. Then take the breath you know. Inhale, pause, longer exhale. You are not fixing your whole life in a minute. You are setting your keel for the first stretch of water. As your skill grows, you will notice something kind. The calmer you become, the kinder you can be. The kinder you can be, the calmer the people around you become. Calm is contagious in the best way. You will still set boundaries. You will still say no. You will simply do it without the extra edge that turns a boundary into a blade. This matters for your goals, because the path you are building crosses other lives. Cooperation lowers friction. Friction steals distance. End this chapter the way a good sailor ends a day, with a clean deck and a clear note for tomorrow. You do not need a grand pledge. You need a quiet promise you can keep when the wind picks up without warning. Keep the breath pattern. Keep the harbors along the coast of your day. Keep the signals that tell your body the storm has passed, even if the sky has not heard yet. This is how you make calm your base, not a rare event. Soft bridge. The sea has steadied, and the horizon is wide again. From this steadier deck, you can reach for the pen on the small table by the window and begin to rewrite the inner script you have carried for years. In the next chapter, you will learn how to author a new story in plain, kind lines that your body and mind can both remember. Chapter 3. Writing a New Inner Story. You arrive at a small desk by a window. The sea outside is quieter now. The air from the last chapter still lives in your chest, slow and steady, and that helps you notice what sits on the desk. An old script. The cover is worn, the corners bent, the pages heavy with sentences that once felt like instructions and now feel like a cage. For years you have performed from these lines without looking closely at the author. Today you turn the cover and meet the author. It is you from earlier chapters of your life, doing the best you could with the tools you had. You breathe once with respect for that version of you. Then you reach for a pen. Before any new line is written, you decide what kind of story you are willing to live inside. This is not about a perfect hero. This is about a believable person who acts with care under pressure. You set 3 quiet pillars for this story: clarity, kindness, and responsibility. Clarity keeps the plot simple enough to follow. Kindness keeps the tone human. Responsibility keeps the action in your hands instead of waiting for rescue. With these pillars in mind, you can revise without cruelty and plan without fantasy. You open to a scene you know by heart, the moment right after a mistake. In the old script, the voice rises and the verdict lands. The words are blunt and final. In the new version, the same moment arrives and you name the facts in plain language. You say what happened, you name the impact, and you ask what small action belongs next. This is not soft talk. This is sober talk. Blame gives you heat and nothing to hold. Responsibility gives you a handle. You can lift a handle, turn a few pages and find the scene where judgment rushes in before context. A coworker frowns, a partner pauses, a message does not arrive, and the old script says the worst is true. You rewrite with wider sight. You add a line that recognizes what you cannot see, and a line that grants a gentle margin. You do not excuse harm. You resist the habit of adding harm that is not there. The effect is immediate. Your blood cools, your words slow. Many fires die simply from lack of fuel. Next, you look for the scenes where you chase symbols instead of needs. In those pages, the plot runs fast but goes nowhere. The crowd cheers, and yet your chest is empty. You cross out the props that were supposed to prove your worth and underline the needs that actually support your life. Steady health, meaningful work, people you can count on, enough money to quiet constant fear. These are quiet needs, and because they are quiet, they are often ignored. You bring them to the front of the stage. You give them the best light. Your story begins to breathe. It helps to understand why the old script stuck. The mind clings to familiar lines because familiar lines feel safe, even when they hurt. You are not defective for clinging. You are human. What breaks the spell is repetition in a different direction. Not loud speeches, but small, honest edits made again and again until the paper accepts new ink. Attention is the pen. Compassion is the ink. Each stroke tells your nervous system that the chapter has changed. Now choose your narrator. In the old version, the narrator was a critic who pretended to be a coach. The critic kept you on edge and called it excellence. The new narrator is firm and fair. The new narrator knows the price of panic and the value of poise. The new narrator does not deny pain. The new narrator keeps dignity inside the room when pain arrives. With a fair narrator, you can look at hard facts without tearing yourself down. That is the ground where adults grow. Bring in dialogue that you can use under pressure. Not long speeches. Short lines that travel well. Lines like you can return to calm or choose the smallest honest step or measure by returns. These lines are not slogans. They are working tools. You place them in key scenes. The first moment at your desk. The pause before you answer a tense message. The silence after a long day. A dependable line is like a handle on a heavy door. It lets you pull without straining the wrong muscles. You also revise the story structure. In the old script, every chapter tried to fix your entire life by nightfall. That creates drama and then defeat. In the new version, each chapter closes a loop you can actually close. A call returned, a walk taken, a glass of water instead of a third cup of coffee, a kind sentence spoken when the sharp one was easier. These are small arcs with honest endings, and they build a feeling you can rely on. You begin to trust yourself again, not because you never stumble, but because you return sooner and steady faster. Let us address memory. Old scenes rise as if they demand a stage. The aim is not to erase them. The aim is to place them. You give each a title that names what it taught you and what it no longer gets to decide. You might title a scene with the lesson that you needed clearer boundaries, or with the lesson that you were carrying pain that did not start with you. When a memory has a title, it stops barging in and begins to wait for its cue. You regain the director's chair. Pacing matters. A story told too fast loses shape. A story told too slow loses breath. You set a pace that your life can keep. You will make the first pass at dawn or whenever the day truly starts for you. You will make a short pass at dusk. These passes are not for judgment. They are for aim. Morning sets the tone. Evening records what you kept. Over time, this simple rhythm turns your script into a living document instead of a verdict carved in stone. Bring your body into the scene. A script that lives only in the head fades by noon. When your breath slows, your voice follows. When your shoulders drop, your words soften. When your jaw loosens, your thoughts uncurl. You can feel the page respond to each shift, as if the paper itself prefers steady ink. This is not imagination for comfort. This is craft for adults who need their best judgment available on ordinary days. You will find places where the right line is hard to write because the truth is sharp. Write the truth anyway, and cushion it with care. You can face a bill, a diagnosis, a mistake, a goodbye, without burning your own character in the process. You are not pretending it is fine. You are refusing to add cruelty to a moment that already asks enough of you. This is moral strength, not denial. The old script relied on force and called it discipline. The new story relies on design. You design cues in your environment that pull the right line into place at the right time. A card by the kettle, a calm word on your lock screen, a small stone on your desk that you touch when the wave rises. These are not decorations. These are anchors. Your future self will thank your present self for setting them. Here's a single action to ground this chapter. Write one line on a plain card that is both honest and kind, a line you want to live by today. Read it in silence. Read it aloud. Place the card where your eyes land in the morning. Later, when a familiar scene begins, touch the card and speak the line once. Then take the smallest honest step that matches it. No more than that for today. The point is not to prove power. The point is to prove direction. Close by, checking the integrity of the metaphor you have chosen. You are an author at a desk by a window. Old pages exist, and you respect them for getting you here. New pages are waiting, and you will write them in a hand that is calm and clear. You keep the voice consistent so the reader inside you can trust the guide. You keep the rhythm steady so the day can carry it. You keep the focus on needs, not noise, so your plot points add up to a life you actually recognize as your own. Soft bridge. The page is ready and the pen is warm, yet ink becomes memory only through the body. In the next chapter, you will turn this quiet script into strong pathways by teaching your nervous system with simple, repeatable practice that keeps the story alive when the pressure rises. Chapter 4. The Body Pen. How Practice Rewires the Brain. You have a new script on the desk, and now you must teach it to the body. The mind understands ideas quickly. The body understands patterns slowly and then keeps them for a long time. This chapter is about giving your body a pen and letting it write the new story into your nerves, your breath, and your daily movements. When you do, the story will be there for you under pressure, not as a thought you must recall, but as a reflex that rises on its own. Think of learning like carving a path through tall grass. The first time you cross, you push and guess. The second time, your feet find a hint of a trail. With each pass, the grass yields, the soil firms, and the route becomes obvious. Your nervous system works in the same quiet way. What fires together wires together. When you pair a clear intention with simple, repeatable actions, you grow a pathway that your attention prefers. Over days and weeks, the path becomes the easy way instead of the hard way. Use many senses at once so the lesson lands deeper. The body is not one channel. It is a small choir. You want every voice singing the same line. Start with touch and motion. Take a plain card and a pen. Write your intention by hand. The movement of the pen, the feel of the paper, the small effort in your fingers, all tell your system that this line is not decoration. It is real work and it matters. Then give your eyes a turn. Read the line in silence and let your gaze rest on it long enough for the shape of each word to settle. Next, give your voice a turn. Say the line out loud in a calm, steady tone, as if you are speaking to someone you respect. Feel the sound in your chest and throat. Finally, give your inner vision a turn. Close your eyes and watch a short scene where this line is already true in a small way today. Make the scene ordinary, not grand. See your hand press send on the clear message. See your feet step outside for a short walk after lunch. See your face soften when someone is tense and you choose steady words. Keep the scene brief and believable. This 4-beat loop is your body pen. Write, read, speak, see, then begin your day. At dusk, run the loop again for a minute. You are not making a wish. You are laying down tracks. You are teaching your system what to expect from you. Expectation is powerful. The body wants to be consistent. When you consistently act in line with the sentence you wrote, you feel a quiet click inside. Your words and your steps match. That click is confidence without noise. Keep the loop short on purpose. Long routines are exciting for a few days, and then they break when life gets loud. A short routine survives noise. A short routine is kind to your future self, the version of you who will be tired and pulled in many directions and still willing to keep a promise if the promise will fit in a crowded day. Aim for a loop you can keep when you are late, when you are stressed, and when you do not feel like it. The loop should feel like washing your hands, simple, quick, and worth doing every time. Pair the loop with a steady breath so your physiology supports the lesson. Sit upright. Close your lips gently. Inhale through your nose in a slow sweep. Hold a small, soft pause. Exhale longer than you inhaled. 3 quiet cycles are enough. The long exhale tells your body there is no chase. The pause says there is room. The nasal inhale says you can take in what you need without gulping. This pattern moves you toward the calm state where attention is wider and learning sticks. You do not need perfect peace. You need enough steadiness to choose your next step. Teach at the level of tiny wins. The body believes what the body does. Grand declarations can lift your mood for an hour and then vanish. Small completions change your map. Choose one action that fits your sentence and complete it today. If your line is about clear communication, send one honest message before noon. If your line is about care for the body, drink a glass of water and take a short walk with your shoulders lowered. If your line is about presence with someone you love, give them your full attention for a few quiet minutes without a screen near your hand. These are not symbolic acts. They are proof. Proof is heavy enough to anchor a new route. Expect drift and plan for return. Old roots will call your feet back. That is not failure. That is biology. When you notice you have wandered, do not scold yourself. Run the loop once. Write, read, speak, see, take one matching action. The faster you return, the shallower the old groove becomes. You are sanding a ridge each time you come back without drama. Adults change with returns, not with perfect streaks. Use the spaces you already visit as small classrooms. The edge of your bed after you wake. The chair by the window before work. The sink after you set a mug down. The car before you step out. These places can hold your loop without asking for extra time on the calendar. Put a card and pen where your hand will find them. Put a tiny stone on the desk and let your fingers touch it when your nerves rise. These signals look simple to a stranger. To your body, they are clear markers that say, here is where we steady, here is where we write, here is where we act. Mind your inputs while you are teaching this lesson. If your day begins with a flood of noise, your loop will be swept away before it roots. Delay news and alerts until after you write, read, speak, and see. Choose light that is gentle in the evening so your system can settle. Keep a small area clean so your eyes do not fight clutter each time you look up. These are not demands for a perfect life. They are small edits that lower the wind while you learn to sail. When pressure rises, shrink the loop, not the promise. If your day is rough and your patience thin, write 2 words instead of a full line. Read them. Speak them. See the smallest scene that matches. Take the smallest step that proves it. This keeps the chain unbroken. Chains are strong because they do not snap when pulled. They flex and hold. Let your practice be like that. Carry your metaphor with care. You are using the body as a pen. That means you keep writing in the same hand each day, not scratching here and there with random marks. When your breath steadies, the ink flows. When your posture lifts, the line is straight. When your attention holds one word at a time, the sentence makes sense. If you switch metaphors mid-page, the body must relearn the picture. Keep the picture steady so the learning is smooth. You may feel impatient. You have lived long enough to want results that last, and long enough to have been disappointed by quick bursts that did not. Let patience be practical. Each loop is a turn of the wheel toward the harbor that matters to you. Steady health, work with meaning, time with the people who carry you. Enough money to quiet constant fear. These are not dramatic scenes. They are real scenes, and they reward practice far more than performance. There will be a day when you act well without thinking, and then you will realize that thinking is not the point. Training is. You will speak clearly because the line has lived on your tongue for weeks. You will breathe before you answer because your ribs know the rhythm. You will choose the next honest step because your feet know the path. In that moment, you will feel a warm respect for every short session you kept when no one was watching. This respect is the quiet energy that keeps a life on track. Micro-action for today. Write one plain line on a card that you want to live by before noon. Read it in silence. Speak it once aloud. Close your eyes to see a 10-second scene that matches. Then do the smallest honest action that proves the line before the day ends. No more than that. Let consistency, not intensity, do the heavy lifting. Soft bridge. The path is taking shape under your feet, and your steps are beginning to match your words. With the body trained to carry your script, you can now choose destinations that deserve this steady engine. In the next chapter, you will learn how to separate noisy wants from quiet needs, so your attention aims at goals that truly support your life. Chapter 5. Wanting less, needing right. You stand on a headland at dawn with your map open. The sea is calm from the last chapters. Your breath is steady, and the path you have carved through the tall grass now reaches the coastline. Far out, the horizon is crowded with glitter, towers of glass, flags that shout, ships painted in loud colors racing each other for a prize that keeps changing names. Nearer to shore, small harbors rest in the quiet light. A clinic with warm lamps. A workshop that smells like cedar and oil. A kitchen where steam rises from a clean pot. A table with 2 chairs and a hand you know. This chapter is about choosing the harbor that matters and letting the glitter sail without you. Desire is your wind. It can fill your sail or spin you in circles. Wants are loud and quick. They flash and tug at the sleeve. Needs are soft and durable. They hum like a low engine that never leaves you. Many good people spend long years chasing wants that were sold to them as needs. The cost is not only money or time. The cost is attention, and attention is the steering wheel of your life. Begin with a clean test. Hold any target in your palm the way a sailor tests a rope before casting off. Ask, does this serve relief or display? Relief is the feeling that a weight has been set down. Display is the urge to be seen setting it down. Relief is quiet. Display is noisy. Hold the target again. Ask, does this support the person I am becoming? Or is it a costume to hide the person I fear I am? Costumes itch after sunset. Support still holds when the audience goes home. Name your needs in plain language. You do not need many. You need a body that can carry you without constant complaint. You need work that lets you offer real value and keeps your dignity intact. You need a few people you can count on and who can count on you. You need enough money to remove the drumbeat of fear about the next bill, the next repair, the next surprise. You need a little time that is not owned by anyone else. Time to create, to think, to rest, to laugh. These are not glamorous. They are the beams that keep a house upright. Now watch how wants try to wear the clothing of needs. The bright car claims it is safety. The crowded schedule claims it is importance. The noisy meal claims it is community. The constant posting claims it is connection. You are not banning any of these. You are stripping off the borrowed labels and asking a fair question. What does this truly give me that lasts until morning? If the answer is status, it fades. If the answer is comfort without care, it dulls and demands more. If the answer is skill, strength, relationship, or peace, it compounds. Use a simple lens to sort the map. Label one side noise and the other purpose. Noise is comparison, show, speed for its own sake, and purchases that must be defended in your head. Purpose is craft, health, kinship, and purchases that do their job quietly. When a choice lands on the table, hold it up to the light of this lens. If it is noise, let it drift past like a little boat that is not yours. If it is purpose, make room on your deck. You may worry that choosing needs over wants will strip joy from your days. That is not the case. The joy you are trading for is warmer and lasts longer. It is the satisfaction of a body that sleeps without groans. The release of a bill paid without sweat on your neck. The glow of a skill that grows under your hands. The easy laughter of a small circle at your table. This joy does not ask for applause. It asks for practice and attention. You have both. Cut the lines that keep you circling the same bright buoy. The first line is comparison. Comparison turns other lives into mirrors and then punishes you for the reflection. Replace the mirror with a window. Look to learn, not to judge. A window lets you appreciate craft, borrow a method, and then return to your own tools. The second line is constant input. Noise sells, wants for a living. Fewer alerts, shorter scrolls, quiet mornings before any screen. These are not rules for purity. These are shields for your focus. The third line is promises you never meant to keep. Each time you say yes to impress, you say no to a need that cannot speak. Let your no be gentle and clean. There is a fear inside many adults that if they stop chasing symbols, they will be left behind. Left behind what? Left behind a race that does not have a finish line. The truth is, the more you choose needs, the more ground you gain that no one can take from you. A well-rested mind, a strong back, clear words, a friend who trusts you, a small cushion in the bank that lets you say yes to the right opportunity and no to the wrong one. None of this is loud. All of this is power. Set a compass point for each need and pick a path that can actually be walked. For the body, choose food that steadies you and movement that fits your joints. For work, choose projects that grow a skill someone needs and that you do not hate when the door closes. For people, choose the few you can feed and be fed by, and give them presence instead of performance. For money, choose habits that make room before crisis does, a simple plan you can keep when the month is messy. You do not need to count every unit or track every breath. You need a shape that holds in rough weather. Give yourself a fair timeline. Wants demand now. Needs grow on a human clock. You cannot rebuild a body by Friday. You cannot earn deep trust in a weekend. You cannot learn a craft in a handful of afternoons. But you can take steps that prove direction today. One honest conversation is worth more than a dozen polite evasions. One lesson absorbed is worth more than hours of empty pride. One meal that serves your energy is worth more than a feast that steals tomorrow. Your life is a long voyage. Pack like a mariner, not like a tourist. When shame tries to sell you speed, answer with design. Plot small routes that loop through the same safe harbors. A short walk after the main meal. A page of notes after the shift. A regular check of the few numbers that matter to your household without turning them into a storm. A standing time each week to sit with the people who anchor you. These loops make the right choice easier than the loud choice. Ease is not weakness. Ease is engineering. Guard the metaphor that guides this book. You are at sea, yes, but you are not alone and you are not lost. Your boat is sound. Your keel is set by breath. Your sail is set by attention. Wants will keep throwing flags in the wind. Needs will sit in the harbor with their warm lamps on. When you feel pulled, look at the light, not the flag. Light shows you where you can rest and work. Flags only show you where the crowd is staring. Let us face the common traps that pull you back to noise. The first trap is the empty room after a win. You hit a target and feel nothing. The reflex is to find a bigger target. Instead, pause and ask which need was unmet beneath the win. Often it is rest, connection, or meaning. Meet the need and the emptiness fades without a chase. The second trap is the itch of boredom. Wants promise fireworks. Needs ask for steady work. Learn to enjoy small craftsmanship, the way a clean surface gleams, the way a line of code runs smooth, the way a list with one real item crossed off sits calmly in your chest. The third trap is the voice that says you are selfish for wanting peace. Peace is not selfish. Peace is what allows you to be useful without breaking. You may fear that if you ask for less, you will get less. The paradox is that when you want less noise, you notice more signal. The right chance stands out. The right partner stands out. The right role stands out. You have space to see them because you are no longer rushing in circles under a sky full of borrowed fireworks. You are sailing under a steady light of your own choosing. Close this chapter without a list to perform. Close it with a lens to carry. When a choice comes, hold it to the light and ask, is this a mirage or a spring? A mirage looks like water and leaves you dry. A spring may look small, but it feeds the ground around it. Choose the spring. Your days will grow green again. Your nights will quiet. Your work will begin to feel like it belongs to you. Soft bridge. The map is lighter now that the noise has thinned, and your compass points toward a smaller set of true harbors. With purpose chosen and the winds steadier, you can turn to the lamps that guide action at night. In the next chapter, you will learn how to name one intention, hold your focus, and move your feet without drama, so progress becomes the natural light along your path. Chapter 6. The Three Lamps of Action. Night arrives clear and cool. The path ahead stretches like a narrow ribbon across the hillside, quiet under a wide sky. You carry a small lantern in your hand, and two more hang from posts along the way. Their light is steady rather than bright. This chapter is about those three lamps and how they guide your steps without drama. You do not need to force yourself forward or argue with the dark. With the right lamps placed in the right order, movement becomes natural, even in uncertain weather. The first lamp is importance. It turns on when you name one clear intention in plain words. Not five. Not a list that tries to solve a lifetime before breakfast. 1. Clarity does not shrink your ambition. It sharpens your aim. The mind loves to scatter. The first lamp gathers. You decide what matters most for the next stretch, and allow the rest to live outside the circle for now. This does not mean you forget other aims. It means you choose a leader among them so the others can follow instead of competing for your hands. The second lamp is focus. It keeps your gaze on the next step that belongs to the intention you named. When this lamp is on, glitter at the roadside dims. You do not stop every few yards to check how far you have come, or to compare your stride to a stranger. You return your eyes to the ground in front of you and place your foot where it belongs. Focus is not a stare that hurts. It is a soft, steady look that frees you from noise. The third lamp is execution. It is the quiet courage of beginning when beginning feels small. This lamp moves your feet, chooses a first inch rather than a perfect mile, and prefers completion to performance. The third lamp is humble and therefore powerful. It does not wait for a rush. It does not demand a special mood. It simply starts and finishes a piece that fits inside the day you actually have. To work with these lamps, time your touch with care. The evening belongs to the first lamp. When the day settles, you write a single sentence that names tomorrow's intention. You keep it plain so your tired mind can trust it. You resist the urge to decorate or stack new tasks on top. If your hand tries to add, you breathe once and return to one. The morning belongs to the second lamp. You read the sentence, take a slow breath, and imagine the very first move that follows from it. The first move is purposely small. The smaller it is, the more likely you are to do it even if the wind rises. The daylight hours belong to the third lamp. You take the small move and then the next one that naturally follows. You let momentum, not pressure, create the day's shape. Doubt will visit. It will say the sentence is too simple to matter. It will say you should wait until you can promise something grand. In that moment, remember the night path. A lamp does not argue with darkness. It shines. When doubt speaks, you do not need to win a debate. You only need to return your hand to the switch and turn the lamp back on. Simplicity is not a lack of respect for your goals. Simplicity is respect for limited energy and human days. Distractions will arrive dressed as urgency. The first lamp helps you decide if they deserve the road. Ask if this new tug serves the same intention you named. If it does, you can fold it into your route. If it does not, you can let it pass or schedule it for a future night when it can be the one clear sentence that leads. The second lamp helps you return your eyes to the ground in front of you when noise pulls your head up too often. The third lamp helps you cut a large shape into pieces you can actually carry. Your body remains the soil where all three lamps take root. If you try to use them with a clenched jaw and a sprinting breath, the light will flicker. Begin with the steady inhale through the nose, a soft pause, and a longer exhale. Then speak the sentence in a calm tone, as if you are reminding a friend of something you both already agreed to. When your breath is even, focus becomes kinder, and beginning is less heavy. Calm is not a reward you give yourself after you finish. Calm is the base that lets you begin. These lamps do not erase weather. They make weather less decisive. On high wind days, shorten your stride and hold the line of your sentence even if progress is modest. On clear days, your steps may stretch without strain. You do not need to manage the sky. You only need to protect the light that shows you where to place your feet. People who keep moving in rough seasons are not braver than everyone else. They have a simple system that holds together when mood and conditions do not. Guard the integrity of the metaphor as you build this habit. The first lamp declares this matters. The second lamp holds the view to the next step. The third lamp carries you forward with one small act at a time. Do not swap metaphors mid-path. Do not call the first lamp a storm horn, or the second lamp a map, or the third lamp a ladder. Keep them as lamps along a night path. Consistency lets your nervous system store the picture and recall it fast when pressure rises. Some readers try to stack many sentences in the evening, certain that more instruction will mean more action. The opposite is true. Many sentences crumble in the morning like dry leaves. One sentence survives the night and wakes with you. If you worry that one is not enough for a complex life, remember that one can lead an entire day when chosen with care. By day's end, you may have done many things. They will feel connected instead of scattered because they grew from one root. Others fear that starting small will trap them in small results. In practice, small starts protect you from the most common failure, not starting at all. Once a small start exists, it creates a groove that invites the next inch and the next. This is how a path appears across a field. Not by a single leap, but by many quiet steps that stop being news. Your nervous system loves what is not news. It repeats what feels safe and sensible to repeat. If you share your life with other people, teach them your lamps. Let them know what your evening sentence looks like and sounds like. Let them know that when you pause before speaking in the morning, you are turning on the second lamp, not withdrawing. Let them know that your first tiny action today is the third lamp at work, not a lack of ambition. When your circle understands your system, they can protect it instead of pulling against it by accident. When you fall out of sequence, do not declare the night lost. Return to the lamp that is nearest and turn it back on. If the day is already loud and your focus is gone, do not scold yourself for missing the morning. Pick the next tiny action that still serves the sentence you chose last night. Finish that and let the finish reset your confidence. Consistency lives in returns. Each return is proof that your system holds even when the hours do not go as planned. You may discover that the first lamp grows brighter as your sense of purpose matures from the last chapter. Needs do that. When you choose needs instead of noise, naming one intention becomes easier. The second lamp grows steadier as your breath practice from earlier chapters becomes automatic. The third lamp grows lighter as you stop measuring worth by how hard you make things. Ease is not laziness. Ease is design. End the day the way a careful traveler ends a leg of the journey, with a brief note and a clear deck. You look back once to see what the lamps revealed and what the path gave you. You thank the night for its stillness and the wind for its honesty. Then you write a fresh, plain sentence for tomorrow and set it where morning light can find it. The three lamps do not promise speed. They promise steady ground under your feet, and steady ground is what lets you go far without breaking. Soft bridge. Dawn is near, and lamps give way to wind and anchor when the sun returns. With a single intention chosen and your feet moving without drama, you are ready to shape a daily rhythm that reinforces calm at the start and steadiness at the close. In the next chapter, you will learn how to use morning wind and evening anchor to keep this path lit without forcing, day after day. Chapter 7. Morning wind, evening anchor. Dawn lifts like a slow tide, and the world feels possible again. The air is cool, the light is pale, and the quiet before noise is a kind of gift. Morning is the wind that fills your sail. You do not need a storm to move. A steady breeze is enough when your canvas is set with care. Evening is the anchor that keeps you safe when the day is done. You do not need a harbor of grand design. A simple hold is enough when you drop it with intent. This chapter shows you how to shape both ends of the day so the middle carries itself. Before anything else touches your senses, let the body find its keel. Sit upright on the edge of the bed or in a chair near a window. Place one palm on your chest and one on your belly so your hands can feel the shift. Close your lips gently. Breathe in through your nose in a slow sweep. Hold a soft pause. Breathe out a little longer than you breathed in. Repeat this gentle arc a few times. You are not chasing bliss. You are signaling safety. Long exhale says there is no chase. Soft pause says there is room. Nasal inhale says you can take in what you need without gulping. Now lift your gaze toward the day as if you are checking the line of the horizon. The mind will try to pour the entire ocean into your lap. You do not need the entire ocean. You need one honest breeze. Speak one intention you can complete today in plain words. You might name a clean conversation you will have, a small segment of work you will finish, a choice for your body that keeps your energy steady, or a quiet presence you will offer to someone who matters. Keep it humble on purpose. Humble travels well. Let the morning wind press into the cloth. See a short inner scene where your feet actually move. Keep the scene ordinary and brief. If the intention is a message, see your hand press send. If the intention is movement, see your shoes step onto a small stretch of ground. If the intention is steadier food, see the simple plate placed in front of you. The brain stores simple pictures more easily than speeches. Then, before the day can scatter you, take the first tiny step that fits. The first tiny step is a knot that ties the wind to the sail. Shape the environment to protect this first lift. Leave the device dark until the breath and the sentence are done. Light a lamp that is gentle rather than harsh. Open a curtain to invite the morning in. Clear a small surface where your eyes can rest without solving clutter. None of these moves demand extra time. They change the texture of the first minutes, so your nervous system understands that calm leads. As you move into the day, hold the intention like a compass in your pocket. You do not need to stare at it. You only need to check it when gusts pull you sideways. When distraction rises, return your shoulders to neutral, soften your jaw, take one slow nasal breath with a soft pause and a longer exhale, and ask what tiny action now serves the sentence you spoke at dawn. Then do that and move on. The point is not perfection. The point is continuity. Afternoons bring chop. Plans meet other people. Needs collide. Energy dips. When the wind goes uneven, shorten your stride. Choose a smaller slice of the same work rather than a different task that feels exciting because it is new. Momentum returns faster when you keep the same heading on a smaller sail than when you turn the boat each time a wave slaps the hull. Respect the weather and keep moving. Now comes evening, the hour when light goes soft and edges blur. The anchor you drop here protects the morning to come. Before you reach for entertainment, close a few loops so your mind does not grind while you sleep. Put one object back where it belongs. Write one plain line about what you finished, not to brag, but to teach your nerves that you keep promises. Lay out one small item for the morning intention: a notebook, a clean mug, a pair of shoes, a document placed where your hand will land. These are cues for future you, and cues are kindness. When the house is a little quieter, return to the desk by the window or to any small surface that feels like yours. Take a plain card and a pen. Write the single sentence that will lead tomorrow. Keep the words simple enough that a tired mind cannot argue with them. Read the sentence in silence. Read it aloud in a calm voice. Close your eyes and see a brief scene where the first tiny step happens with ease. Then set the card where morning light can find it and be done. Add a short review that feeds learning without feeding shame. Ask what helped you move today and what slowed you. You are not building a case against yourself. You are updating a chart for safer sailing. If a time of day or a place pulls you off course, mark it and plan one small change. If a person drains you without cause, plan a boundary with a steady voice. If a habit served you, thank it and place it early in tomorrow so it can serve again. Evenings can be a trap if you let them fill with unchosen noise. A screen can eat the hours and feed you little. Choose a gentle light. Choose words that lower your shoulders rather than spike your pulse. Choose music that lets your breathing stay slow. Take a brief walk after the last meal if your joints allow, or stand at a window and let your eyes rest on a far point. Distance in your gaze tells your brain that there is room again. Sleep is the harbor master. Protect it with respect. Keep your room a little cooler than the rest of the house if you can. Dim the light before you close your eyes. Let the last thought be the simple sentence waiting on the card. Not as a chant, but as a friendly reminder that tomorrow already has a place to begin. When you wake in the night, do not entertain worries as guests. Note them as boats passing in the channel. Adjust your breath, long exhale, soft pause, and let them pass. This rhythm is not rigid. It is alive. Some mornings will demand speed. Let the wind carry you without breaking the shape. Some evenings will be crowded. Drop a smaller anchor rather than none. Write a shorter sentence. See a shorter scene. Place a smaller cue. Consistency grows from returns, not from streaks without flaw. If you share your space with others, teach them your morning wind and evening anchor in plain terms. Tell them that a few calm minutes at dawn make you a kinder partner and a better teammate. Tell them that a brief tidying and a single sentence at dusk are not isolation but investment in a smoother tomorrow. When the people near you understand your ritual, they can protect it instead of interrupting it by mistake. You may feel a tug to make the routine ornate. Resist that tug. This is not performance. This is seamanship. A few sturdy knots, tied the same way each time, are stronger than a maze of lines you cannot repeat when you are cold and tired. Let your routine be short enough to keep on hard days, and clear enough that you can do it with half-closed eyes. Short and clear wins more voyages than complex and clever. Notice how this chapter holds the metaphor steady. Morning is wind. Evening is anchor. The breath is your keel. The sentence is your compass. The tiny step is the first tug on the line that moves the boat without straining the mast. When you keep images consistent, your nervous system retrieves them faster. Under pressure, speed of recall matters more than depth of philosophy. There will be days you miss the morning or ignore the evening. Do not make a story out of a stumble. Return at the next chance. If you wake late and the house is loud, take one slow nasal breath. Speak the sentence on your card once, and take the smallest matching step. If you come home wrung out and fall into a chair, pick up the pen for a single line before you sleep. Each return confirms what kind of sailor you are building, not perfect, but steady. Micro-action for today at dusk. Write one plain sentence that will lead tomorrow. Read it in silence. Read it aloud. See a 10-second scene where the first tiny step happens. Then place one small cue where morning light will touch it. Soft bridge. The day now has a shape that carries you without a fight. And the sea around you seems calmer because you are calmer. With wind and anchor working in your favor, you can lift your eyes beyond your own deck. In the next chapter, you will open your hand and meet the world with presence and care, turning compassion into a quiet power that keeps your course true. Chapter 8. The Open Hand. You have sailed through wind and anchor and learned to steer without drama. Now you face the larger water where other boats move beside you. Some drift, some rush, some throw wakes that rock your hull. This chapter is about the open hand, a way of meeting the world that keeps you steady while quietly changing the sea around you. A closed fist is strong for a moment, and then it tires. An open hand can carry, receive, and signal without threat. It is a posture, a practice, and a power that does not need to shout. Begin with listening. Not the kind where you wait for your turn to speak, but the kind where your shoulders lower and your eyes say, "I see you." Listening is a harbor you offer. Many storms quiet the moment a person steps inside a harbor that feels safe. You do not need grand speeches to build that harbor. You need a calm face, an unclenched jaw, and the patience to let another person finish their sentence without rushing to fix it. When you listen like this, you keep yourself in heart mode. Your breath stays long, your view stays wide, and your words land softer without losing their shape. An open hand does not mean open borders on your time or energy. Boundaries remain part of seamanship. The difference is the tone. A blade cuts, a boundary holds. When you set a boundary with a steady voice and a calm chest, you protect both sides from unnecessary harm. You can say not this, but that. Not now, but later. not for free, but for a fair exchange. You can step back without making the other person an enemy. A steady boundary is a kindness to everyone involved, including your future self. Service fits here, not as a moral performance, but as a practical engine. When you do one small thing each day that makes a nearby life easier, you align your attention with purpose instead of noise. You bring your nervous system into the same calm setting that supports clear choices and durable habits. Think of carrying a bag for a neighbor whose hands are full, sending a brief note of thanks to someone who held a door for you in a hard week, or sitting beside a person who is grieving and saying nothing while your presence says everything. None of this is costly in money. All of this is fertile in meaning. Generosity is not only about giving objects or hours. It begins with giving the benefit of a doubt. People carry old weather everywhere they go. A sharp word may be the echo of a night without sleep, or a call that went badly, or a private loss you will never be told about. When you remember this, you stop taking every splash as an attack. You angle your bow, reduce your wake, and pass without collision. You do not excuse harm. You simply refuse to add harm where it is not needed. Compassion toward yourself and others keeps the metaphor intact. Your hand is open to receive guidance as well as to offer help. If you cannot accept a simple kindness, you will run dry while pretending you are fine. Practice saying thank you without apology when help arrives. Let the warm meal be for you this time. Let another driver merge. Let a friend pay, and promise to pay it forward when the tide favors you. Receiving well is part of the same current that lets you give well. Tension hoards. Calm shares. The open hand also changes how you make requests. Instead of demands that tighten the air, you offer clear invitations. You state what you see, say what you need, and ask for a specific action with room for a no. This keeps dignity on both decks. A request made with dignity is easier to honor, and a refusal offered with dignity is easier to accept. You do not turn every decision into a test of worth. You turn it into a coordination of two lives sailing in the same water. Notice how an open hand improves your craft at work. When you explain your idea without the armor of defensiveness, people can hear the idea instead of your fear. When you share credit as easily as you share blame, trust rises in the room. Trust lowers friction. Low friction saves energy you need for real problems. This is not naive. This is efficient. The shortest route across rough water is often the path that makes the fewest enemies. Keep your breath as the keel while you extend care. A soft pause between inhale and longer exhale gives you a slice of time to choose words that do not escalate. In heated moments, glance out a window or down a long hallway to widen your view. Distance in your gaze signals to your system that there is space. Space cools heat. With cooled heat, you can hold a standard without turning it into punishment. You will meet people who try to take advantage of open hands. That is part of life on shared water. Your answer is not to harden into a fist. Your answer is to open one hand and close the other. Offer kindness with one palm while the other sets a clear boundary. If a pattern of harm appears, tie your boat elsewhere without ceremony. Leaving quietly is often stronger than staying to prove a point that does not need proof. Let gratitude be the daily tide that floats your hull a little higher. Gratitude does not demand fireworks. It names small goods on purpose. The first ray of sun on your kitchen counter. The way a tool feels right in your hand because you have learned it. The message from a friend that makes you breathe easier. When you write 3 such details at dusk, you train your attention to notice what supports you. Noticing does not erase problems. It prevents problems from taking all the available space. An open hand keeps your manifestation work honest. Remember what you learned earlier. Intention needs room. When you fill your day with comparison and defense, there is no room left for the signal that points toward real opportunities. When you meet others with presence, curiosity, and steady kindness, you see openings that were always there but previously hidden by your own noise. People tell you things because you feel safe to tell. Doors swing because someone with a key trusts you. These are not accidents. They are outcomes of a posture you chose and kept. Bring the same posture to those closest to you. Offer your attention without a screen in reach when they speak. Ask one genuine question and wait for the real answer. Touch a shoulder, hold a gaze, or simply sit nearby without filling the air. The body reads these signals faster than words. Homes grow quieter and warmer when this becomes normal. Warm homes create adults who can walk out in the morning, ready to do clean work without burning out. You may worry that open hands will leave you empty. In practice, they free you from carrying what is not yours and fill you with what lasts. The weight you put down is the weight of proving, defending, and polishing an image no one needs. The strength you pick up is the strength of steady relationships, shared effort, and the relief of not performing every hour of the day. Relief is a kind of fuel. It burns cool and long. Keep the sail and harbor metaphor consistent. Your open hand is a signal flag that says safe to approach. Your boundary is the line of rocks that guard the harbor mouth. Your listening is the lantern hung at the pier so a friend can dock without fear. Your daily small act is the plank you repair so the next step does not fail. When your images stay stable, your nervous system retrieves them fast under pressure. Speed of retrieval is the quiet edge of a seasoned sailor. Micro-action for today. Offer one small harbor on purpose. Choose one person you will see, greet them with full attention, lower your shoulders, let your breath lengthen, and listen until they finish. Then reflect back one clear line that shows you heard them. And if a tiny helpful act appears, do it before sunset. Let it be small. Let it be clean. Let it be enough. Close by remembering why this matters to your larger aim. Manifestation is not a private trick done in isolation. It is a public craft practiced in a shared world. Your open hand keeps you in the state where your mind notices what helps. Your voice invites cooperation, and your feet move along paths that others are glad to share. You will still meet rough water. You will still say no. You will simply do it without the extra damage that turns a day into a fight that no one wins. Soft bridge. Old doors will still appear along the shore. Familiar frames that once led you into narrow rooms. With your hand open and your breath steady, you can walk past them without stepping in. In the next chapter, you will learn how to face those triggers, name them without fear, and keep your pace when the past knocks for attention. Chapter 9. Walking past the old doors. You know these doors before you see them. A smell in a hallway, a tone in a voice, a pause in a message, and the hinges in your chest begin to creak. Old scenes stir, old sentences rise. Your body reaches for a handle it learned a long time ago. This chapter is about noticing the door, naming it, and walking by without stepping through. It is not about denying your history. It is about refusing to live inside it when the day asks you to move forward. Begin with the map you have already drawn. Earlier, you learned to steady breath and soften posture. You learned to hold one clear intention. You learned to keep your script simple and kind. All of that was for this moment. Triggers do not request an appointment. They arrive like weather, sudden and familiar. The first task is recognition without judgment. Name what is happening in plain words. The body is bracing. A memory is echoing. A door from an old hallway is open. Naming breaks the spell that says this is fate. It turns fate into a choice. Stand still for one slow inhale through the nose, a soft pause, and a longer exhale. Let your shoulders drop a fraction. Let your jaw loosen. Let your tongue rest. You are not pretending the door is not there. You are establishing a wider room around it. In that wider room, a door is just an object. It can be passed without ceremony. Old doors often wear 4 common signs. The first sign is certainty about someone else's motives when you do not have the facts. The second sign is a rush toward punishment, either of yourself or of another. The third sign is speed, a demand that this must be resolved now or disaster will arrive. The fourth sign is collapse, a sense that you are suddenly smaller than the handle in your hand. When you see any of these signs, say their names inside your chest. Certainty without facts, punishment, speed, collapse, then breathe once the way you have practiced. The labels create space, breath fills it. Remember the difference between a signal and a story. A signal is a sensation in the body, tightness behind the eyes, warmth in the face, a drop in the stomach. A story is what the mind tells about the signal. No one respects me. I always ruin things. Nothing I do will change this. Signals deserve attention. Stories deserve editing. If you treat a story like a signal, you will fight a ghost all afternoon. If you treat a signal like a story, you will ignore a body that needs care. Keep them sorted. You may feel the pull to argue with your thoughts, to stack reasons and counter-reasons until the door decides to vanish. Doors do not vanish when argued with. They fade when ignored, and they shrink when you act in a different direction. Pick a small movement that belongs to the intention you named this morning. A line you can write, a call you can place, a note you can draft without sending. Let action be your argument. The door will still exist. It will simply stop leading. There is a reason these doors are persuasive. Once upon a time, walking through them kept you safe. The sharp word protected you from a sharper wound. The quick retreat avoided a blow. The apology that arrived too early kept a room from breaking. Respect that history without letting it own the present. You can thank the old reflex for getting you here and still choose a different motion now. Gratitude softens the shame that keeps old patterns sticky. Use the environment as a gentle ally. Turn toward a window or step into a corridor where you can see farther. Long distance in the eyes suggests room in the mind. If you can, touch something cool or steady, a desk, a railing, the back of a chair. Let your hand feel the weight and stillness. The body believes touch faster than speech. A steady object lends its shape to you for a moment. That moment is enough to choose a path past the frame. When the door is a person, treat them like weather rather than legend. Weather is real, and you work with it. Legend is myth, and you surrender to it. If a familiar tone cuts, do not reenact an old scene. Say fewer words. Choose steady ones. Keep your breath long. Ask one honest question that requests a fact. If you cannot get a fact, make a small choice that protects your boundary without burning the bridge. Change the time, change the format, change the distance. Protection can be quiet. If the door is silence, the old reflex may be to fill it. You may rush to perform, to please, to apologize for air itself. Let the silence sit for a heartbeat while you keep your shoulders low. Choose a single line that matches your values and offer it without decoration. If no response comes, return to the smallest honest step in your own lane. Silence is not a verdict. It is a room with many possible exits. You do not need to try them all at once. Your pocket kit from earlier chapters belongs here. A compassionate sentence you can say to yourself. You can return to calm. A grounding breath, inhale, pause, longer exhale, a tiny task that proves momentum, one line written, one dish washed, one file placed where it belongs. These are not tricks. They are small pieces of evidence. Evidence changes juries. Your nervous system is a jury that decides how much of the past to admit into the present. Give it honest evidence that you are safe enough to proceed. Measure progress by returns. The skill you want is not a life without doors. The skill you want is the ability to notice a handle in your hand and release it sooner. Each time you let go without drama, the hinge squeaks a little less. Each time you walk by, the frame gathers dust. Over seasons, some doors sink back into the wall. Others remain, but they lose their power to take an entire day when a minute would do. You may fear that walking by makes you cold or uncaring. It does not. It makes you accurate. You can care deeply and still decide that this scene does not deserve the whole stage today. You can circle back later with a clear mind and a steady voice. Walking past now can be the most caring choice for everyone involved, including the past version of you who used to be dragged into every hallway without a say. Keep the metaphors you have chosen intact. The old room from earlier chapters still exists in memory. The sea still moves around your boat. Now you are in a corridor along the shore with doors on either side. Your breath is the keel that keeps you straight. Your intention is the compass in your pocket. The lamps from the night path still glow ahead. You do not need a new image. You need the same images returned to you quickly. Consistency is speed when pressure rises. Sometimes the door you pass will slam behind you and echo for hours. That is normal. Echoes are not summons. Let them fade while you continue. At day's end, record the moment without judgment. Write a single line about what tried to pull you in and what you did instead. This simple record teaches your system that you notice, you decide, and you move. It also gives tomorrow's version of you a true story to stand on when the same handle gleams in the same light. There will be times when you step through before you know it. You will wake inside an old room with an old script in your hand. Do not make it worse by declaring the day lost. Use the door in your pocket. The breath. Inhale slowly through the nose. Pause softly. Exhale longer. Lower your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Speak one compassionate sentence. Find the smallest exit and take it. Even a crooked exit counts. Return to the corridor and keep walking. Adults are not measured by never slipping. Adults are measured by how they return. If another person insists that your calm is avoidance, make a clean statement of your aim. You are choosing the next honest step over an old argument. You are willing to talk when both sides can listen. You are not willing to reenact the same scene for the sake of habit. Say this once in steady words. Then do not explain it again. Repetition turns clarity into conflict. Let your steps prove your aim. Carry a gentle question for moments when the pull is strong. What would the person I am becoming do in the next minute? Not in the next year, not for the sake of a perfect image. In the next minute. The answer will be small and doable. The answer will respect your needs from earlier chapters: health, craft, kinship, enough money to quiet constant fear. The answer will almost never include throwing yourself at an old door to prove that you are brave. Bravery here is a quiet stride. Close this chapter without a checklist. Close it with a recognition. The past is part of your strength, not your prison. Each time you walk by a door that once swallowed you, you honor every lesson it taught without paying the old price again. You keep your breath, you keep your compass, you keep your pace. The corridor is long, but it opens to air. You can feel a draft from the shoreline already. Soft bridge. Ahead, the path lifts toward a clear ridge where aims can be named without chains. With your steps steady and your hands free, you are ready to pursue your goals with patience and non-attachment, letting results arrive in their own shape while you remain present and generous. In the next chapter, you will learn how to manifest without clutching, to hold high aims with gentle hands, and to keep moving when outcomes take their time. Chapter 10. Manifestation. Without chains. The ridge is clean and the air is thin. From here you can see the water you crossed and the rooms you no longer live in. You can also see farther than you could from the deck or the doorway. This height brings a stern clarity. Some aims you chased were costumes for fear. Some were signals of need. Some were simply noise that learned to sing. This chapter asks you to hold the aims that remain with gentle hands. Aim high without clutching. Work daily without self-punishment. Receive outcomes in their own shape and time while you stay steady in who you are becoming. First, speak plainly about control. You do not control the sea. You do not control other boats. You do not control the exact day when the wind will turn. You do control your keel, your sail, your compass, and your daily seamanship. Manifestation is the craft of aligning what you control with what you value, then letting the larger water do its part without wrestling it. When you clutch at the wind, you spill it. When you fix your sail with care and keep your course, the wind does more work than your hands ever could. Hold your aim the way a skilled sailor holds a line, firm enough to keep shape, loose enough to ride a swell. Say what you want in language that serves your needs, not your image. You want steady health so your body can carry your life. You want work that uses your gifts for real help. You want a few loyal bonds you can feed and be fed by. You want enough money to quiet constant fear and to choose your yes and your no with dignity. You want room each week that is not owned by anyone else. These are honest aims. They deserve honest practice. Non-attachment does not mean apathy. It means you do the work with full heart and do not let your worth rise and fall on every tide. You can be thrilled when a door opens without deciding that life only begins after doors open. You can be sad when a door stays shut without deciding that the sea is against you. You keep moving in weather that is not ideal, and you rest in weather that invites repair. This is not indifference. This is maturity. Let gratitude be your ballast, and purpose be your wind. Each morning, you set your keel with breath and your sail with one intention. Each evening, you lower the anchor and close a loop so the mind rests. Between those points, you move your feet through a chain of small completions that match your aim. Completion is not a ceremony. It is a quiet click inside when your action and your value meet. These clicks stack in the dark and grow into strength you can feel without telling anyone about it. Detach from timelines that steal your peace. The adult clock is slower than the crowd promises. Bodies change on a human schedule. Craft grows by humble inches. Trust accumulates over seasons. Money that matters arrives through habits that survive storms. If a result you want takes longer than your mood prefers, shorten your stride, but keep your heading. Draw your breath a little slower. Speak to yourself like a coach who respects a tired but willing player. The ridge is still here. The horizon is not fleeing. When outcomes arrive, welcome them without letting them name you. A win is a day when doors swing. A loss is a day when they do not. Neither defines you. Let winds pass through you like a warm front. Enjoy them. Learn from them. Do not cling. Let losses pass like a cold front. Feel them. Learn from them. Do not wear them. Return to the keel. Return to the lamps. Return to the sentence you chose the night before. This is what it means to walk with aims and without chains. Beware the two traps that most often tighten the fist. The first trap is comparison at the moment of near success. You are close to something good, and the mind scans for someone farther along. Comparison whispers that your pace is shameful. Answer with craft. Do the next inch. The second trap is self-punishment after an honest try. You act in line with your values, and the world gives a flat response. Punishment will not improve your odds tomorrow. Rest will. Design will. A fresh evening sentence will. As you move, notice how generosity keeps your hands open. Share a method without hoarding credit. Send a note that names another person's steady work. Offer a clean boundary where confusion once lived. When you act like this, you stay in the state that reveals openings. People hand you the right maps because you feel safe to hand them to. You do not bribe the sea. You align with how human waters actually move. Keep the metaphor coherent so your body can recall it under strain. You are a sailor who learned to breathe like a keel, to choose like a compass, to begin like a lamp lit at night, to listen with an open hand, and to pass old doors without entering. Now you sail with high aims and loose lines. You do not tug the wind. You shape the cloth. You do not shout at currents. You read the water and place your bow. When a swell lifts you, you ride it. When a trough arrives, you shorten your sail and wait without panic. Bring your script to these heights as well. Write your aim in a sentence that names the value it serves. For example, you might write that you are building a body that carries your life with less pain, or that you are learning a skill that feeds other people and feeds your pride cleanly, or that you are making a home that calms everyone who crosses its door. Read the line. Speak it. See a short scene where today's small action matches. Then live the day and let the world answer in its own voice. When fear of loss rises, do not mask it with fake calm. Admit the fear and keep your hands gentle. Say that you care about this aim. Say that you also care about the person you are while you pursue it. Let both be true. Then touch the rituals that never fail you. Breath, posture. One tiny action that belongs to the sentence. The mind believes what the hands do, and hands that keep their work soothe the mind that worries. At times you will be asked to release an aim that no longer fits who you are becoming. Letting go is not surrender to failure. It is fidelity to the truth. If a role steals your breath, if a chase hollows your chest, if a costume itches every night, lay it down with respect. Thank it for what it taught. Then choose a smaller, truer aim and begin again. Adults who can end a chapter without breaking their identity are rare and steady sailors. When luck helps you, do not blush and hide it. Say thank you and keep your craft. When luck hurts you, do not grow bitter and abandon it. Say this is weather and keep your craft. Over a long voyage, luck evens in strange ways. Craft compounds. The person who holds craft through luck builds a life that looks like luck from the outside and like quiet work from the inside. Your circle matters here. Surround yourself with people who respect gentle hands and firm aims. Teach them your signals. Learn theirs. Share silence. Share plans. Share the relief of not performing. In company like this, attachment loosens because worth is not on trial each hour. You will still be challenged. You will also be held. Held people risk wisely and recover faster. If you need a single sentence to carry from this ridge, let it be this. Aim high with a soft grip. Each word matters. Aim says you choose a direction instead of drifting. High says you choose a direction worthy of a life. Soft says you refuse to crush the joy out of the work. Grip says you still hold the line and do not float away. Say it when the sky is bright, so you remember it when the sky is not. Close this chapter with a firm calm. You have learned to set your state, to write a story that fits, to teach your body the lines, to choose needs over noise, to move by lamps instead of panic, to let morning and evening do their work, to open your hand in a world that often closes fists, and to pass old doors without losing the day. Now you practice manifestation without chains. You aim with care. You work with steadiness. You receive with dignity. You stay yourself. Soft bridge to outro. Fold the map, feel the keel, and face the open water with a quiet, ready smile. The harbor you want is not a prize at the very end. It is the way you move today. When the light changes, you will see that you have been arriving for a long time. Outcome. You stand at the shoreline of your own life with a steadier breath and a clearer map. You know how to move from fear to calm, how to choose needs over noise, and how to keep small promises that add up quietly. You hold your aims with a soft grip. You begin with simple steps and let results arrive in their own time. You no longer chase symbols that fade by morning. You build the kind of days that carry you, with work that matters, people you can count on, a body that can bear the load, and enough money to quiet the old drumbeat of worry. You listen with an open hand. You set boundaries without turning them into blades. You walk past the old doors and keep your pace. You remember that manifestation is not a trick. It is the way your attention, your breath, your words, and your actions align for long enough to become a path. When setbacks come, you return sooner and softer. When good fortune comes, you say thank you and keep your craft. The harbor you want is not far away. It is the way you move today, steady, present, and kind. Before the day rushes in, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, only if you truly enjoy what I was doing here.